Hello again everybody, and welcome back to Test Flight on the F-86 Sabre. So in this video I'm going to continue with the preparation of the aircraft for engine start, running through the checklist procedure, and this time I'm taking my time going through and really exploring the systems. The idea behind this phase of the learning process is to learn why you're doing things in the order that you're doing them and learn what the systems do, so it's not just regurgitating the procedures by rote. You know why you're doing the procedures in the order that you're doing them. That's the key now, and that's why I'm taking my time. So let's go ahead and pick things up back in the cockpit. I'll see you in just a second. Okay, speed brake emergency lever to normal. Okay, so continuing the... Okay, I guess this one does deviate a little bit from the overall flow because that switch is right here. Okay, emergency lever to normal. I'll take that to be the normal position. Not really... Okay, I have override and I have close. That's the default position. I'll take override to be... Yeah, I'll take override to be the default position and call that normal. Wing flap lever up. Okay, so I need to position this one to... I would have expected right click to go up, but okay, left click to position this to up. Just set it up so that it matches, and correct me if I'm wrong, matches the configuration that the aircraft is currently in. Okay, so emergency fuel shutoff switch to off. Okay, emergency fuel shutoff switch. Okay, here we go. Emergency fuel off. Got it. Emergency jettison handle in. Handles, all sorts of handles down here. You look like an emergency jettison handle, and you look like you were in. Got it. Landing taxi light switch to off. Center position. You are off. Got it. Okay, pitot heater switch on and then off. Now I believe these last two steps, I remember seeing that I would have crew chief interaction. I believe I would verify with the crew chief that the landing lights are in fact retracted at this point. I would flip on the pitot heater and it would take, I don't know, 30, 45 seconds. I have no idea for a Sabre, but my experience is that it takes about 30 or 45 seconds until you can walk up to it and just kind of gently tap it. You don't want to really grab onto it just in case it's really, really hot, but you can kind of tell when it's starting to warm up. I would switch that to on, get a thumbs up from the crew chief, switch it back to off. Okay, engine NII screen switch extend. Okay, that is to the extend position. Got it. Clock, accelerometer, and altimeter set. Okay, so these are going to be my main panel. Okay, I have a clock. Okay, 9:17 apparently is the time. See, what all can I do here? Clock set doesn't seem to be... Hey, it is functioning. Okay, it was. Oh, what time was it? Doesn't really matter. Okay, so that sets the clock. Oh, that's a timer. So I have a stopwatch built in. So when we get into navigation, especially in an old-style aircraft, this is going to be essential. You're going to see me... Hopefully, I don't do this often enough, but you'll see me doing some dead reckoning navigation as we get going. Okay, so... Okay, that's the clock. I need to get the accelerometer and the altimeter. The accelerometer is right here. Okay, so that's set, showing 1G, just as it should be. And altimeter, I don't have a altimeter reading that, or called in from ATC that I'm going to be worried about. It always calls it in as QFE anyway, and I don't really want QFH, I believe it's called. But I happen to know just from flying out of here constantly on other missions that the field elevation is, I believe, 33 feet. So I'm just going to set this to about 33 feet and leave it. Okay, close enough, good enough for our purposes here, especially since it's good weather out and I'm not going to be, hopefully, if everything goes according to plan, not actually going to get airborne. If I do, it's going to be my mistake. Okay, got that. Fuel quantity, check. Totalizer set. Fuel quantity. Main instrument panel, okay, bottom right, fuel quantity. I'm showing a little over 2,800 pounds. So I've got a full internal load set up. Okay, dosimeter. I started to look at this switch, or not dosimeter, I mean densitimeter. A very, very odd word that you don't see very often. But okay, I have a fuel densitimeter that I can have in two positions, in or out. So what I would do as part of this check is set it to the out position. This is going to remove the density I guess is going to remove the density calculation from it and just show like fuel quantity. So okay, it's all the way pegged to the side, so I know that I have a full load of fuel. And then I set it back to the in position, and now it takes fuel density into account, and that'll give me an accurate fuel quantity indication for whatever pressure altitude that I happen to be operating at. I'm not a fuel systems expert, but I think that's a basic description of how that works. The ins and outs of it is kind of detailed that I'd love to look up, but anyway, that's what you're going for there. So that's now going to give us a good indication of total fuel remaining throughout the remainder of the flight. Okay, generator switch on. Okay, electrics over here on the right side, generator switch. Okay, there's the cover, so on, switch guard down, got it. I skipped a few steps there. Okay, let me go back to direction indicator, check again standby compass. Okay, direction indicator is right here in the middle. It's showing me pointing right now at 138. If I check my compass, I am set up at 138. Perfect, okay. That's actually a little too perfect. I was expecting to have to calibrate this, but it seems to be... I'll look at this in more detail once I get to the sortie where I do navigations. That'll be the next sortie after this. Okay, that's where it was originally. It's just giving me... Okay, I'll scope that out later. It's not working exactly like I would have expected, but that's not to say that isn't exactly how it's supposed to work. I tend to trust the developers in these after experience. Usually if I think something is wrong, it ends up being right. Okay, so let's see here. Attitude indicator, check. So attitude indicator is right here. Let me see what kind of doodads we have here. I can pull the cage. Okay. Right now it's showing me just a little bit nose up. And that could be right, I think. Maybe by default the... Well, I don't know. I'll think about that some more. I don't think there's any way to calibrate this. Usually there's like a dial associated with it, so you could like rotate the dial and kind of calibrate it for dead level. But to do that effectively, you have to know what... really, to do that effectively, you have to know the how much pressure you have in your, especially the nose landing gear strut, and have to know exactly how the aircraft is sitting in relation to local horizontal. So it's close enough. We'll move on. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Got VVI indicator set. Okay, this one's showing me doing nothing, set right at 0, so that's good to go. I'll take that. Okay, function selector knob, MAV or DG as required. I take that. Okay, that is going to have something to do with my gyro compass. I would expect it to be associated with this instrument, and I would have expected like a little two-way toggle switch with a MAG or a DG. With a MAG or a DG setting. However, I have a vague recollection of this only applying to a Type J4. It's weird how little details like that stick in your brain, but I have to have like the Type J4 system gyro compass to have these options, and maybe that's not modeled. I will have to research that and get back to that in the navigation sorting. Okay, we'll press. Okay, generator switch on. Got that before. Canopy alternate emergency jettison handle in. Okay, you are canopy alternate emergency jettison handle, and you look to be in to me. I'll take that. Flight control emergency override handle in. It's very, very helpful that it does go in sequence. Otherwise, I would be just looking all over the place for these things. Okay, you are in. Okay, flight, it says flight control emergency, but the tooltip says alternate hydraulic override. That's going to be referring to the same thing. What happens here is we have two hydraulic systems for the flight control system. One is the normal system, and the other is the alternate system. Right now, I'm on the alternate system. And that's the, if I put this switch to the alternate position. So right now, even without the engine running, I have 2800 PSI on this alternate flight control system. So at this point, yeah, I have full flight controls. I always had my rudder, and that was another one of those errors that I wanted to correct. I mentioned before that the rudder had a hydraulic assist. I was wrong in probably all versions of the Sabre, come to think of it. Yeah, the rudder is just all manual. It's just a control cable to the rudder. And you can see the trim tab right there. Trim tabs being what the horizontal tail, that's what it is actually called, is the all-moving horizontal tail, not horizontal stabilizers, as I think I pointed out last time. And the ailerons, yeah, those don't have trim tabs. But yeah, I have the alternate flight control system hydraulics up and running as we speak. And this would be used to manually switch between the systems, as I think we're going to get to in a later checkout of the system. Okay, coming around to lighting controls as required. Okay, these are down here, just a lot of you don't seem to be working. That's with the auxiliary lights, console and panel lights. It is rheostats that check out the cockpit lighting. Oh no, you are working. Okay, I stand corrected. Just my mouse was just being glitchy. Okay, yeah, very cool. I'll leave those off since it's a day sortie. Okay, and communication equipment switches as required. Okay, at this point, even though it doesn't say it in the checklist, what I really want to do here is do some ops checks of the communication equipment before I get too far into it and I get to the point where I'm ready to get into the air. So I'm going to go UHF. This is my UHF command radio. I'll go to transmit receive. This is where it's going to get tricky, because I have yet to see on any of the forums a breakdown of what channel corresponds to what frequency. I've seen a post where it has individual frequencies, the new UHF frequencies for the airfields, and the I think the VHF VHF FM stuff for the Focke-Wulf 190 that's coming out, but I haven't seen anything that says what frequency corresponds to what dial setting. I think it's going to come down to there's only really one way to find out. So I am going to take this opportunity to map the mic switch to my throttle. So I'll hit escape, adjust controls. I'll come down to communications, microphone button. I'll put it on my throttle, and I'll make that button. Okay, that was weapons release. Thank goodness I'm remapping that. Okay, microphone button is now set up. So now I should be able to, yeah, now I can pull up comm stuff on, yeah, just on my throttle, HOTAS command. Okay, one way to find out. Let me try this. F5, I'm at Colkey. You don't ever actually request startup unless you're doing like a maintenance run. Usually the startup timing is already predetermined. That's part of filing for your flight clearance, at least anywhere that I've ever been in the US, and granted I've only been on the ground listening in as all this stuff happens, but yeah, I've never heard anybody request startup other than a ground maintenance run. But anyway, I'll do this just as an ops check.
Colkey, in field 1-1, request startup.
I have a feeling what this is going to take is me going switch by switch position and making note of which one actually works. So let me pause right here, and I'll save you the tedium, and be right back.
Field 1-1, Colkey, cleared for startup, wind 118.
Okay, that was way easier than I thought it would be. Just to make sure this is working like I think it's working, let me go to position 2, and I'll request taxi.
Request taxi to runway.
Because it looks like position 1 is what I wanted. Yeah, it works on position 1, no response on position 2. Okay, so I know the Colkey Snaki is position 1. I will take that as a good ops check of the UHF command radio, and I'll just leave that in the transmit receive position. But folks, I'm going to put a break in the video here and come back next time with a look at how this navigation equipment works, and if you're curious about how the radio compass does actually work, I think I stumbled onto the right answer here in just a second. I'm no expert on it, but I did get it to work. So look forward to that in the next video. Thanks again for watching. I will see you next time.